Okay folks, we're back on the Saturn Aura for some more maintenance. One of the things I told you I wanted to fix was the stud. I found another wheel lug nut in the back seat. You may have seen it when I took the seat out. And I just put the stud in a vise and then ran the lug nut off. But now we're going to drive out the bad stud and replace it with a new one that I got from Rock Auto. I just bought one stud. And it just comes in a bag like this, so all we gotta do is drive it out, take the brake caliper off to get the rotor off, and then we'll find a spot in the knuckle. We'll rotate the knuckle till we can get that to fall out the back, and then we'll put the new one in, and we'll put the lug nut on backwards, or somehow we'll draw the stud in so that it's locked into the hub. So it shouldn't take too long. Let's get after it. I drove it out already. Now we've got to take the caliper off so we can take the rotor out of the way and see what's going on. I'll grab my sides just a second. Actually, I found a nut that was oversized for the stud. So you can put that nut just on there. You can see it slides on real easy. We'll hand start this lug nut so we know that it's started straight. And now we're just going to grab our impact and run it in. Quite run down yet, but I don't think we're going to be able to get it with just that impact gun, so I'll probably just switch over to a breaker bar and pull her in here, put a little oil on the threads so I don't have to form them, and then we should have that job done. The first time before I go out on the road, I need to step on the brakes a few times to get this piston re-engaged to the pads, but looks like we've got that job complete. So now we can put all 5 lug nuts back on and put the tire back on, which is just a peace of mind that we can now have all of our lug nuts on, and we're not going to have force on 4 when the engineers put 5 on to start with. So we'll go ahead and do that here in a little bit. But we did get the rest of our goodies in, so we should be able to maybe look into this water pump a little bit more. That might be something we just leave the wheel off in case we have to go back through this wheel well area to get to the water pump, but we'll check it out. Alright folks, so I did take the air box out. I took the tensioner loose, took the belt off, and then there was an idler pulley right here, and then this motor mount that bolts in here. There's another piece to it I have it laying off to the side, but here's what we're after. So we're after this right here. This is the water pump. I can get to a few of the bolts, but it looks like there's a couple, like this one right here is pretty far down on the side behind the pulley, so we gotta get the pulley off. I'm not exactly sure the exact procedure for this, so I'm going to try to use 2 wrenches and get one to jam it and then the other one to pop loose. We'll see if this works. I mean, it should get one of them loose. Got one loose. Awesome. So just a little bit of rust must have been holding on. We got the pulley off. Set it over here. Now we should be able to get to these bolts that hold the water pump on, and that should be coming off. Looks like those are 13 millimeters. So I'm probably going to load up my battery operated ratchet for that. It's taking stuff off is pretty good for that. Alright, so it looks like all these bolts are the same length on the water pump. I wasn't sure, but just playing with the water pump, they both turn about the same. This one is a little looser. I don't really see a gasket on it, so it does have the rubber O-ring in there. Maybe that's all you get. People like to put RTV or some kind of shellac in here to hold these seals in when they're putting them in, but I usually have a lot of luck just getting them put in there loosely and then start a few bolts so that they're lined up, and then start tightening them down in a crisscross fashion. So grab this top bolt because it's the easiest one to start. Put it right in there. Now we need to get another bolt in this other top one and kind of get it straightened up here. Just because you got a battery tool doesn't mean it's always the best option. I like to do bolts by hand just to make sure that you get the right amount of torque on them. Again, I know you could use a torque wrench, but I don't see that those make a big difference all the time, and it's an expense I just don't want to cover right now. trying to tighten these in a crisscross pattern or a star pattern, since there's 5 of them, just to load up the water pump evenly with pressure. Alright, the last thing I'd like to change while we're in here is the thermostat. So I bought a thermostat while I was on Rock Auto because they were pretty inexpensive. And I believe the thermostat's going to be right here, real close to where we're at right now. So I think we should just go ahead and get at it. But I've never seen one that, I mean, it's not supposed to come apart like that. But we've got the right style. Both of them are 44 millimeter. Both say USA on it, so there's a good chance that they're even from the same manufacturer. I don't know if I like that or not, but I can't imagine that's supposed to come apart like that. And you don't want that coming apart in your engine. Now, I understand it presses against it, and then this other part pushes, when it opens up, pushes against this spring. But I'm wondering if this thing got off and got jammed and just plugged up and was not functioning. Because even right there when I took it apart, I mean, this car did not run very long, but the engine side of the coolant was very warm, but the radiator side was very cold. So it's like the thermostat had not opened up. The car didn't run that long, so maybe it wasn't supposed to yet. But we're gonna get this new one stabbed in here and get this back together. We'll see if we can't get this thing filled back with coolant and back on the road. Alright, so we got that on. Clip the tail off. Got the tail out. Alright, so now we've got the thermostat changed. We gotta put the water pump pulley back on, put the serpentine belt on. I did get a new one of those, so we should put that on too while we're in here. It would make the most sense. And then we'll button up everything and fill it up with coolant and see what happens. Looks like we're pretty close. This one right here, this pulley is on the water pumps, that's not quite lined up, but I don't know if it's going to throw it or if it's just going to set itself when we start it. But we might just wait and find out. There's not enough room to get a ratchet in there, or there might be, but my ratchet's got both ends, so it's got a 1/4 and a half drive. I just won't let it fit in there. Or sorry, 1/4 and 3/8. So just gonna go around and hit this with the wrench, the double wrench method. Since we're here, we're going to put in the air filter as well. See if it's the right style. It is, so we'll put it in. Drop it into the air box first. Get this clip out of the way. Okay, so the last thing we gotta do is put the wheel on. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that, and then we'll get this thing back down on the ground and get some coolant in it and see if we can't get it to open up, and we'll check for leaks underneath the car. So hang tight, I'll get the wheel on and we'll get the car back down. Alright folks, like I said, I just got the tire on, I got the car dropped down. The serpentine belt didn't pop off on startup, but we are out of coolant in the overflow or expansion tank, so I'm going to put some more in here. No, I'm not putting Mountain Dew in here. I really hate paying for pre-mixed coolant unless I'm on the road and I'm in an emergency. So I just took 1 gallon of full coolant, mixed it, I put half of it in this empty jug, filled it up with distilled water the rest of the way, and then I put the other half of the distilled water in my my AutoZone jug. So now it's 50-50 as well. You can see there I'm just kind of flexing the upper radiator hose, and I got it to draw down quite a bit. It's going to do that over time, but I'd like to get it kind of sped along. So if I do that, kind of let it do a siphoning action. Now I can feel the upper radiator hose is very very solid, like it's got some water pressure in it, which is what we're going for. Go ahead and let it cool down a little bit more, top it up with some more coolant, and then I'm going to go for a little drive and let it sit, and we'll check out the coolant level. I'll check out the coolant level by myself. We'll see how it's going. But I guess let me know if you have any more questions about this car. I don't know a ton about the 3.5 liter V6 that's in this GM or Saturn. Don't want to upset the purists, but it's a General Motors engine. But if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like to see, I'm not opposed to trying a few things with the engine. Nothing crazy like, you know, change the oil for bananas or anything like that. But maybe if there's some little things you want to try. This car, again, was $500. But it could go for headlight restoration, so if that's something you'd be curious to see, leave it down in the comments, or if you have anything else you'd like to see me do with the body. My wife did suggest we should Raptor line this car. I do a lot of Raptor lining on Jeeps, but I guess I could Raptor line the car. I don't know why I couldn't. Hey, if that's something you guys want to see, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and if you could, give this video a like, and if you enjoy what the channel's put out so far, consider a subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all of you guys watching.